Hello, everyone, and welcome back once more. Now, Felix and I today are just going to have a quick chat about sovereignty. We're hearing this a lot at the moment, being your sovereignty and, all of this kind of thing. But the question is, what do we mean by that? What does
Mm,
sovereignty look like? What does true sovereignty look like? Because, it's been a long time since humanity as a whole has been sovereign unto itself. It has been taken over, it has been dictated to, it has been controlled, it's been mind washed, it's been made amnesiac, and we are emerging out of this and really like someone who's been deeply institutionalized. We've got to kind of shake ourselves out of that fug and step back into our true power and our whole self, and take back control of our thought processes, take back control of our beliefs, sort of hold our own opinions, not just repeat somebody else's. So I mean, it's a big growing up moment, a very big growing up moment for
mm,
all of us, and for humanity as a whole to actually take back our sovereignty. Because the reality is, we all know nature abhors a vacuum. If we don't step into the space that's being opened up for us, somebody else will.
absolutely, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was really great. I was just kind of taken to the artificial timelines with that. So just to kind of backtrack here, when we're looking at sovereignty, how sovereign do you really think that you are in your day-to-day three-dimensional life? Because we've got bosses that
That's
want you to
a
do, yeah,
yeah, it's a scary question.
it's a scary question, but it's one that needs to be looked at because
Mm.
we've got bosses that are very demanding that want kind of your work delivered on time. You've got bills that need to be paid that want to be paid on time, otherwise you get a big red notice coming through the door telling you that you've got to go to court and there's lots of threat and lots of terror. There are parents that you've grown up with and they've got their own set of belief systems as to what how things should be. And that's relayed to you as a child. So all of these experiences generate number one fear, but they also generate a conditioning. That conditioning creates a behavioral pattern um, in which runs through an autonomic response when we kind of get triggered to some level that puts that fear into motion that makes us kind of behave in a certain way or do a certain thing. So when we're looking at sovereignty, we need to understand the conditioning that's happened from birth, the epigenetic information that's sent down through ancestral patterning that's also playing out through you and
and,
through,
and the environment you currently sit in.
yeah, and the environment you're sitting in. So you've got this kind of satellite around you growing up, telling you how to be and telling you what to do, and kind of saying you must eat all your greens, otherwise you're going to go to bed and stuff like that. There's lots of fear, 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 telling you how to be and how to control. And we just kind of like lose track of what is actually right for us,
Mm.
following our own intuitive guidance. Now, the process that we go through coming out of this from a healer's perspective is to regain a level of sovereignty and self-awareness and understanding one's own needs over the application of other people's needs that they want you to do. So their projection of what they want you to do, basically.
Mm.
Okay, so when we're looking at that and we've got all this generated fear that comes with this and the trigger points that sit around that, what we're dealing with there is general splits in the consciousness that fragments over time, and this becomes detached from your own energetic system. Now, every time we go through a level of trauma or a level of fear, we're then pushed out of our body and held suspended in a secondary timeline that's perpetuated by fear. Now, this can be fractal by fractal, but if we take a step back and look at the whole system, then we are able to see the whole timeline. That whole timeline is generating fear. It's generated through fear. Um, and what this does is it creates an attraction point to negative structures that latch into that to feed off it. Now, they want you to stay in that place because you are a battery pack, you're a power source for them to feed. So to keep you in that state of fear is to keep you in a state of being controlled and therefore releasing energy back into that system that they're able to pull from. But this restricts all of your senses, it restricts all of your functions, and it keeps you shut down and numb and obedient. So therefore you become a slave.
Yeah.
So when we can kind of see it that way, we can then take the choice, how much of this are we actually truly being controlled? How much are we actually having our own sovereign choice point? How much are we actually having influence from the people around us? And it always comes back to understanding your own resonance and what is your guidance. And that comes through a clairsentient expression. So we follow the feeling, we follow the intuitive feeling rather than I prefer to do that than to do that with vision. And that is because the feeling is the compass to me. The feeling is the trajectory that I follow. If it feels horrible, I'm definitely not going to follow it. But I'm going to understand why it feels horrible because I want to know. I like to know the what's it called, the back end of the website. Or I like to understand the mechanics behind these things, because when we've got the mechanics, we can understand the inner workings of the mind and why we're feeling urged to do something. Are we feeling urged to do something because there is a fear charge behind it that's pushing us to go ahead and do something? Or is it because there is a kind of guidance response or an imbalance within your own polarity centers that are kind of influencing one thing or another? And all of these indicate how free you can become, really. They dictate how free you can become or how controlled you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel into it as energy really. Is it a contractive energy or is it an expansive energy? If it's a contractive energy, someone's trying to force something onto me, keep me small, keep me, in the container into which I've been stuffed. Um, that's not what I want. If it I mean, it's scary. It can be scary to move out and to, it's about moving beyond your comfort zone the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there might be fear attached to that, but it's fear attached to change and the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
but the quality of the energy is expansive. It's not shut
Mm-hmm.
down because
Mm-hmm.
fear brings in real contraction.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's about reading energy fields. It's about being very self-aware, very tuned in, and Felix has talked about all of the ways that we're conditioned and all of the ways that we're kind of really that they blinkers are put on us to try and keep us as these the animals on the farm basically.
Mm.
You're not that. You are the most amazing being. I with everything I understand, I can barely begin to know what we're capable of,
Mm.
who we truly, really are. And, reclaiming our sovereignty, reclaiming our thought processes, our beliefs, our behaviours, making them ours, authentic to us, not imposed on us by anything outside us,
Mm.
is a big step on the path to coming back to who we all truly are.
Mm.
Um, yeah, our true sovereign self.
Lovely. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, well, thanks so much, guys, for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it today. If you did like it, give us a like and a subscribe down below, and you'll catch our details down there too. Loads
Yeah.
of love, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.